Oh boy, the show's about to start! Yeah, it's gonna be great. We got a full house here too, so you know it's gonna be a good movie. I'm so excited! Ever since we played Lights, Camera, Pants, I've been itching to see a bona fide SpongeBob film in theaters. Look! It's starting!
SpongeBob, Patrick.
The cinematography is amazing!
Sandy.
SpongeBob's first 3 seasons were lightning in a bottle, just a perfect blend of comedy, wit, and lovable goofballs. While it's unfortunate that the show could never quite recapture the same magic, I'm still so grateful for those first 120 or so episodes. The amount of damage it did to the psyche of Gen Zers is greatly appreciated by meme culture. SpongeBob wasn't just making his mark on television in the early to mid 2000s, but in the video game industry as well. Just like how the cartoon was far better than any of us could have ever imagined it could be, many of SpongeBob's video games have also enjoyed a similar level of modern day appreciation. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie game splendidly retold the events of the film and was developed by the same guys behind Battle for Bikini Bottom. Creature from the Krusty Krab had creative level design and a weird story. The Drawn to Life crossover merged the two series brilliantly and gave us more Doodlebop content, which is always welcome. Not every SpongeBob game was a surefire hit, but they all tried something different. After all, the Yellow Avenger taught me an important life lesson. Video games can be bad? Of course, you can't talk about great SpongeBob games without mentioning the big daddy of them all. The one that replicated the show's humor while boasting tight controls and great level design that helped it garner a cult following and an active speedrunning community to this very day. Mr. Krabs overdoses on ketamine. But enough about SpongeBob platformers. How about instead of copying Mario, SpongeBob copies Mario Party? SpongeBob SquarePants Lights, Camera, Pants released for all major platforms except the DS in 2005. Despite middling reviews, I still consider this game a paragon amongst not just licensed games or SpongeBob games, but the party game genre as a whole. It does so much of its own thing and executes it all so well that it still holds up today. So let's take a deep dive down to Bikini Bottom and get this show started, shall we? Okay, I know I just made the haha funny about how this game is supposed to be a Mario Party clone, but honestly it's not. Besides also being a minigame collection, Lights, Camera, Pants differentiates itself from Mario Party by having its own themes and style that's wholly unique, and I think that's what's helped it stick in my mind for over a decade. Like a tumor. The minigames aren't just presented as minigames, they're presented as auditions for roles in an upcoming Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy movie, which help emphasize the behind-the-scenes film theme of the entire game. The movie's production is covered in the game's story mode, where up to 4 players could compete to earn roles in the movie by winning auditions and accumulating points. Whoever gets the most points in a level while also passing a certain score threshold will earn the role for that set, which is related to the location in some sort of way. However, if you don't pass the score threshold after completing the 3 auditions in a level, the film's producer throws a temper tantrum and forces you to retry one of the auditions to raise your score. It's a bit funny how all this works. Imagine being cast for a role as a prisoner and the producer drives you out to Alcatraz to compete in challenges such as breaking rocks and don't die on the electric chair. Every point you earned is tallied up, and at the end of it all, the player with the most points will win the role of the sneaky hermit, the main antagonist of the whole film. The way this story mode is structured is brilliant. It perfectly fits the movie set theme of the whole game while also doing what any party game should: foster competition. Little by little, you compete for minor roles in the film, all while eyeing the big supervillain sized prize at the end. It makes every audition matter, as it could make or break your chance of earning that big role. After each level, you also get to watch a snippet of the film involving the role that was just awarded. These are all presented out of order, allowing you to piece together the events of the movie as you progress through the story. It's all wrapped up together nicely by cameos from iconic SpongeBob characters. You got series mainstays like Mrs. Puff, Larry, and Squilliam, but even some seldom seen characters make an appearance, like Bubble Bass, Kevin C. Cucumber, and even Cannonball Jenkins! But this game would not come together as nicely if not for the watchful eye of Gil Hammerstein, the film's producer and a sarcastic, witty guy who just wants shit to get done. He also happens to be voiced by Nolan North, the voice behind Nathan Drake, Deadpool, and various other roles in media, including appearances in Rick and Morty, Saints Row, God of War, Halo and The Legend of Korra. I did not expect this hammerhead shark with a lisp stronger than his jaw to be voiced by someone so prominent.
Gil Hammerstein speaking.
But I'm all for it. All of this, presenting the minigames as auditions, the film-themed story mode, the loudmouth producer, it all comes together to give Lights Camera Pants its own unique charm and identity. It doesn't just successfully differentiate itself from Mario Party, it makes the whole game distinctly SpongeBob, and yet completely different from any other SpongeBob game. All this stuff only could have happened deep down in Bikini Bottom, and I love that. So is this all that the movie is? Oh no, we'll just have to watch and see. Now shush, the second act is about to begin.
That's cringe. You're cringe!
I'm not gonna go into detail on all 30 minigames in this collection, because I already do that in a separate tier list video that should have released around the same time as this video. Check it out later. I will, however, talk about the minigames slash auditions slash whatever you want to call them as a whole though. And what I will say is... Every single minigame has so much love and care put into it. So many fantasies that kids would have about the SpongeBob series are made a reality in this game. Order Up lets you serve customers at the Krusty Krab. Lure It puts you in the driver's seat of a boatmobile. Breaking Out lets you commit government-approved crimes. Jellyfish Jamboree lets you catch jellyfish. Every minigame perfectly fits within SpongeBob's universe and feels like an authentic experience you'd only find in Bikini Bottom, except for Rope Burn. From a gameplay perspective, there's a surprising amount of depth to many of these auditions. Considerable risk versus reward management, reflex testing, planning, strategy, even opportunities for skill expression are present in many of these auditions. There's a lot of minigames in here that would have definitely been regarded as all-time classics if they had appeared in a Mario Party game. I'm that confident in the quality of Lights Camera Pants' minigames. Except for the Tide Piper. Even some of the more lackluster auditions are 1 or 2 tweaks away from becoming great, except for the bouncers. But regardless, I love the zany, wild, and above all, fun minigames that Lights Camera Pants has to offer, and I have a soft spot for basically all of them, even some of the bad ones. Except for Tethered and Weathered, that one just sucks balls. It's not just the mini games that are excellent either. Hell, screenshot this entire game because it goes hard. The music is awesome. There's so many earworms here that it's impossible to mention them all. My personal favorites though are Flippin' Out, Jellyfish Swish, and all 6 musical numbers featured in Rock Bottom. You also can't forget about the game's main theme. Ooh, it has just the perfect amount of catchiness and intensity that easily makes it my favorite track from the game, hands down. If anyone has seen Charlie Brissett or Hamilton Allstat recently, please inform them that their Grammy Awards and Nobel Peace Prizes are waiting for them in the foyer. And I have got to mention the box art. The PAL region box art is okay, nothing mind-blowing, seems like some standard SpongeBob fare. But then the US version, oh, look at how pissed they are. Look at their outfits and how they depict them in a variety of roles. I don't think I would have played this game as a kid if the cover didn't go so goddamn hard. This is literally better than like every NFT ever. This box art will always have a special spot in my heart along with nearly everything else about this game.
SpongeBob, Patrick.
I feel like I'm losing brain cells. That's a sign that your brain is being active. But I've noticed you haven't really been enjoying yourself, pal. Yeah, sorry dude. It's just, nothing so far has really appealed to me, you know?
Wacky slush.
No, that's what I'm talking about, baby! I mentioned before that there was clear care and effort put into Lights Camera Pants by the good folks at THQ Australia. That sentiment doesn't just extend to the gameplay either. Keep in mind, there are 6 playable characters, which means that there are 6 different cutscenes for each role, multiplied by the 8 minor roles available for grabs, plus the sneaky hermit cutscenes being tailor-made for each character. That means that there is this many possible combinations that the Mermaidman and Barnacle Boy movie could end up becoming. The amount of work that must have gone into all of this, from the gameplay to the story, has to be commended. The cutscenes aren't all cut from the same cloth after all. In Plankton's police officer cutscene, he gets a tiny bike, while in Squidward's version, his siren is replaced by the sound of him playing his clarinet.
Sing along, Barnacle boy, I love this song.
I love that. It shows how much detail went into this game, and you can also see that detail in the collectibles. You can unlock these awesome posters that frame episodes of the show like blockbuster movies. You can receive artwork parodying real-life art pieces, some of which unironically look gorgeous. You can also earn trophies of your favorite characters and finally examine Larry's butt. And I know I just mentioned the cutscenes, but I also have to bring up the fact that many of them are so ridiculous.
You stole our invisible boatmobile, sneaky hermit.
You stole our evil layers.
Evil bears?
It's clear that the devs were dedicated to making this game as authentic of a SpongeBob experience as possible, and I think they succeeded. For heaven's sake, the main driving force for the sneaky hermit to be a villain is because of a divorce. I'm really glad that my positive opinion of Lights Camera Pants still holds up today. I loved it as a kid, and I still appreciate it a lot now. This game is not just some Mario Party clone. It is a well-rounded minigame collection with charm and undersea fun all its own, and I implore all of you to give it a shot. After all, it released for like every console of its generation: the GameCube, the Xbox, the PS2, the Game Boy Advance. Oh shit! So how long until this movie is done? I think the big reveal is about to come up. No way! The strategy for licensed kids games in the mid-2000s was to release for as many consoles as possible. After all, why make money one time when you can make it 8 times? SpongeBob SquarePants Lights Camera Pants on GBA discards everything that made the console counterpart unique and is instead a generic 2D platformer. I lost my original cartridge for this version of the game when I was a kid, so I was initially eager to replay a forgotten game from my childhood. Who knew that a war crime could be so compact? I had just replayed Revenge of the Flying Dutchman right before this game, so my opinion at the time was very biased since I really hated Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, but looking at it closely now, they're kind of the same game, although Lights Camera Pants for GBA is a bit better, but not by much. The game's only about 2 hours long. It's really short and fails to stand out in any way, and yeah, you can play as 4 different characters and switch between them at will, but Sandy is by far the best of the bunch. Also, Mr. Krabs and Plankton have been executed. Sorry. SpongeBob has continuous aerial damage but wonky hitboxes, Patrick's basic attack is terrible, and Squidward is more useless than an NFT after you right click it. Sandy meanwhile packs good speed, fast attacks, and immunity to spikes, and the best move in the game. This last twirl is basically a Mario raccoon tail but with the ability to fly exchanged for amazing momentum. This move is straight up broken and can crack open many parts of the game like an egg. There are some levels where you have to run away from like giant boulders, but Sandy just swirls her lasso and all is done. Other gameplay styles are presented to mix things up a bit, but they're just okay at best. I like this burger stacking mini game, but the rhythm game-esque segment is no match when compared to the power and raw energy that Rock Bottom brings. There's some other little distractions here too, but that's all they are, distractions. I like the final level though. Like in the console version, there's roles to be won in the upcoming Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy movie. When you clear specific levels, whichever character is out on the field at the time will end up getting the role. There's 4 of them in total, and each one of them appear in the final level as a test of your skills, bringing back previous gameplay segments like the DDR or driving in a way that fits with the plot of the film. Unfortunately, the final boss fight is boring, and this part where you briefly play as a sneaky hermit and try to make an escape by mashing A, I'm pretty sure it's impossible to win. All in all, Lights Camera Pants for GBA is mediocre. I understand that the party game format of the console versions would have been impossible to port 1-to-1, but when the console version fetches 3 times the value on the market, you know you've fallen short. An unfortunate fate for the last of the Lights Camera Pants games. Wait, what do you mean we're not done yet? There's a PC version of this game? I didn't even know that this version existed when I was a kid. It was made by AWE Games, whose studio name sounds like it was randomly generated. They actually also developed SpongeBob SquarePants Employee of the Month, which I did play as a kid and enjoyed. But like Employee of the Month, Lights Camera Pants for PC is a cheaply made point-and-click adventure. I say cheaply made because there's a lot of jarring visual and audio choices made here. Some of the voice acting and audio mixing is mediocre, to put it nicely.
That has got to be the worst stage name I have ever heard.
Haha, sorry kid, but I've seen grandmothers that are tougher than you.
Yeah, me too.
Shut up, you.
But the real damage comes from how the game looks. Our titular Sponge looks fine, but there's many other characters like Squawk, the Flying Dutchman, and Mrs. Puff who look rough in 3D. There's also the jarring juxtaposition between the 3D character models and the 2D backgrounds. I know this was probably like an intentional design choice so that players can tell which items in the environment they can interact with, but it doesn't help make the game look any less gross, even for a mid-2000s licensed PC game. There's also the really bad minigames and these cutscenes. Oh my god, these cutscenes, they're so bad that they become good. But despite how bargain bin this game feels, it also feels like less of a case of we're too cheap to bother making a decent game, and more like a case of we're strapped for time and budget, so let's try to make the most of what we can. A lot of different iconic locations from the series make an appearance here, from staples like the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket, to one-time locations like the Jellyfish Convention, the Kelp Jungle, and even the prehistoric times. A ton of different characters make an appearance as well, and many of them you can recruit onto the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy movie as actors. At least I think you can, because the make episode button didn't actually work for me, so I wasn't able to actually utilize all of the actors that I ended up recruiting. You make me pick between Lights Camera Pants on PC or on console, and I'll take the console version every time. But the PC version is bad in a way that's goofy and charming, which I think is just dandy. There's also some hilarious moments in this beautiful mess of a game that I have to show some of them off.
Aha! I've got something!
Tell me once you find it, pal. What? What the hell is happening? What? That doesn't look like a SpongeBob. Why is Bubble Bass there? The console versions of SpongeBob SquarePants Lights Camera Pants hold up spectacularly. You could easily pop in the disc and have as great of a time now as you could have 15 years ago. Not so much the PC and Game Boy Advance versions, but in this household we neglect the redheaded stepchildren. It would be amazing to have a remaster of the console version, although with Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway having passed away in 2012 and 2019 respectively, I don't see it happening. Those two made Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy who they were. Lights Camera Pants is and will likely always be a product of its time, but a damn good product it was. I'll always have the red carpet ready for when this old friend wants to show off again. That movie turned out better than I expected. I know, right? I expected a 10 out of 10, and I got an 11. I wouldn't say it's that good, but still, at least we got this nice commemorative gift for viewing the movie.